Hi guys and welcome back to Logic Language Learning. So today we are looking at the pluperfect tense, the plus-que-parfait, the more than perfect, okay? So let's quickly look at what this means and then how we make it up. Okay, so basically, if I'm talking to you about one thing that happened in the past, and it does not matter how many years ago or however long ago it happened, I'm going to use my basic past. And as we all know by now, we don't have a choice in French. We are very spoilt, it's ever so easy. We don't have to decide between I have gone or I went or he has spoken, he spoke. We just use our version with 3 words, okay? So he has spoken or he spoke, il a parlé. Now, if I wanted to say, refer to another event in the past which happened before this event, so let's look at a timeline, okay? The timeline will be just visible here. So here's the timeline now. Here's me in the present tense. So let's say I bought a coat, okay? And I'm talking about that coat in a single action. Yeah? I bought a coat. J'ai acheté un manteau. I bought this coat. I bought this coat. Okay. So here's coat number. No, we'll say here's the black coat. Okay. And let's say we bought. That's very small. And let's say a week previously, we bought a blue coat. Okay. So here's our timeline. Okay. And here is our very small. Here's our blue coat. Very small diagram. I do apologise. But the point is, if you're telling me about the blue coat in one go, oh yeah, I bought a blue coat 2 weeks ago. J'ai acheté. Or even in English, I bought a blue coat. Yeah, j'ai acheté un manteau bleu. Okay? I bought a black coat. That's more recent. That was 1 week ago. Oh yeah, I bought a black coat. If you want to show me in your language that the black coat was before the blue coat, you're going to use the word had, aren't you? So, oh yes, I bought a black coat. I had bought, or I'd bought, a blue coat, but I decided I wanted a black one as well. So let's look at another example. I spoke to John this morning, okay? I really needed to speak to him. I had spoken to him 2 weeks ago, but we didn't solve everything. So the point is, both of these actions are in the past. If I was talking about one of them on their own, I'd just use my normal past, in English or in French. I spoke to John today. I spoke to John 2 weeks ago. If I'm talking about both of those actions in the same sense, the same goal, of the same phraseology, the same idea, I spoke to John this morning. I had spoken to him 2 weeks ago, but we didn't solve everything. So this is when you are using 2 events in the past in the same idea, in the same phrases, in the same sentences, in the same paragraph. You are going to use this to show your listener which one comes first. Now obviously you can also use time phrases. So I spoke to John today. I had spoken to him 2 weeks ago, yeah, or previously. But that's not the point. So that's where we use had from. It's when we've got a second event in the past and we want to show which one came first. And we can switch them around. I had spoken to John 2 weeks ago, but I spoke to him this morning. Or I spoke to him this morning, but I had 2 weeks ago. So it doesn't matter which one you put first. We just know which one came first in the timeline because of this tense. Now, how do we form this tense in French? So first things first, listen to what we're saying. He spoke, he has spoken, he had spoken. Okay, so we are actually using the word had in the middle. Now, next little idea. Okay, if you are going into the past in English, you will use a contraction. We don't always say he had spoken, we'll say he'd spoken. If you were going into the future, the would, the conditional tense, he'd speak if he could. He'd speak French if he were more confident. So this he'd, be very careful, okay? This can be he'd plus the past, he'd plus the basic verb will give you the would tense. So if you're listening to your English and you're in an exam, hang on, let me think. So I'd spoken is short for I had spoken. We need this tense. I'd speak is short for I would speak. I need the conditional tense, which is underneath. So, let's look how we make this up in French. Now, the very easy, basic way of thinking about this when you don't want to think about the grammar is I want you to think of your three words, and you're going to think of your three ideas, so person, middle word, past word, okay? And like your basic action, because it is still an action, it is you doing something, 1 and 3 are going to stay the same. So for example, he spoke, il a mangé. He had spoken, I'm going to keep il, I'm going to keep manger, and I'm going to put my middle word in the wishy-washy imperfect tense. Now, you might go, but I'm not saying he was speaking. No, you're not. You're not saying je parlais. You're saying he was having spoken. Now that's a really crazy way of thinking about it, but I basically make my students, they use hand signs and it really works. So this is my symbol for the past, action, 1, 2, 3. This is my symbol for the imperfect, the was, were, used to. And this tense, if you could, and not everybody can do this, is kind of imagine your 3 fingers, and the middle one is windscreen wiping backwards and forwards. So 1 and 3 will stay the same, and the middle one is going to go into the was tense, the A tense. So let's look at some examples. Our A tense, straight away, let's have a quick reminder, is going to be using avoir or être for both of these verbs, because automatically, if I'm sticking a verb in the past tense, what do I have as my 2 possibilities? I have be or have. J'ai mangé, je suis parti. Okay, I have be or have. So how do we put be or have in the was tense? I need my A. Say them both for me to have. Avoir, to be, être, okay? Do either of them sound like A verbs? No, so I can't just copy paste. You know, manger would give me je mangeais, danser would give me tu dansais. So I need my A method. I need my hard and the A method. So give me the verb to have. Avoir. Where's the obvious hard point to stick A on the end? Have. So avait. Yeah, j'avais, tu avais, il avait, nous avions, vous aviez, ils avaient. Okay, that is my was used to, my imperfect ending for had. Okay, which is written here and obviously below. Okay, ion, an EA for nous and vous. Identically then, if we go over to être, so I was happy, we're going to use the verb to be. Être, so et a, I'm going to use the hard and the explosion method, okay? So, j'étais, tu étais, il était, nous étions, on était, vous étiez, ils étaient. So, automatically